Now, a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, since the chapter 79 reveal of the Omnipotence divine technique within a divine technique, has had a lot of questions, or should I say misinterpretations, of what the ability actually is. I am here today to silence all questions and grant you the answers you seek and deserve, but before that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want more Naruto and Boruto content. Let's begin. First, let's start off with getting rid of the most common misconception idea of the technique, that being, well, it's only mind manipulation. This is mostly based on one singular application of this ability from Ida, whom can't even properly control it, giving in to Kawaki's desires. Momoshiki and her kind of back this up, as Ida remarks while Kawaki is touching her and activating this new dojutsu we've never seen before. Stop it, Kawaki, don't say such things, as Kawaki continues to say and touch her. Now, people may think this is because she cares for him and don't want him saying all pessimistic things and being down on himself, but I only think that is part of the reason that she says this. The other part is that I think she knows what she is capable of and was asking him not to say those things because her power would inevitably grant this wish or desire. Seeing how her eyes light up and activate with this gigantic white aura around her, and Momoshiki seems to back up this idea as well of her doing it and not being able to control it, with the statement that goes as follows. This current phenomenon is Kawaki's desire becoming reality. He went through Ida and invoked Omnipotence to cause you and him to switch places. The identity of her charm ability is simply the result of Ida's subconscious desires, made material by Omnipotence. So with that being said, we now know the ability works off desires, and with Kawaki giving her what she took of his desires, being from a person whom she loves, that thus activates this ability. Partnered with how Momoshiki also said she is not able to control it, this silences the notion that it's only mind manipulation, as we see it as literal the desire for her to help Kawaki and his ideas coming to fruition in reality. Again, this is all based on Ida's assumption, or what she assumed Kawaki wanted the minds to switch, and him basically implying, if not outright just stating it, that he wanted to switch lives with Boruto. With that being said, you may now be asking, well, if it's not that, then what is the ability? So the ability itself is described as the ultimate power only an all-knowing and almighty God can wield or control, which fits the name given Omnipotence, as Omnipotence, the actual definition, grants unlimited power, or all-powerful, or the ability of God. And to kind of get rid of the, well, this isn't that a name fallacy, or well, this is a name fallacy, no, it isn't, as I am not deriving this conclusion based on the name, but the meaning or attributes given or prescribed to said ability. Moving on, this Omnipotence ability is also said to be a divine technique within a divine technique, a programming language of the gods that were said to have used it to create entire worlds. This is what Omnipotence is. Now, another question posed is, well, Troy, what can it exactly do, since it does basically take whatever you desire and forces it into reality? Think of it as some kind of true imagination ability, as to do what you want with it, or as much as you can desire. The sky is quite literally the limit with this ability. Anything you want or desire can come to reality. So if you desire a mighty thunderbolt that can wipe out a planet, then guess what? You have a thunderbolt that can wipe out a planet right there. Or if you're fighting Goku and want to become like a Super Saiyan just like him, if you desire it to be, then you shall become that Super Saiyan. We get a perfect example of this ability basically being conjured up with Ida's enchantment ability, being a byproduct of Omnipotence. It is the ability basically to instantly enchant anyone that isn't an Otsutsuki or blood relative, causing them to not be able to hurt you in any way or cause any harm that would inevitably impact you. With that being out the way, I would like to also go over why Momoshiki said Omnipotence does not affect Otsutsuki or the caster. That is clearly within the context of this application of it, because immediately followed up with, incidentally, that Uchiha girl is somehow unaffected, as well as though it is usually the immune who suffers the most from Omnipotence. He is basically telling you that Boruto, while this application didn't affect him, or Sarada, you both are still doomed to suffer way more than people have forgotten. So none of that, oh, a conjured up thunderbolt is not true Omnipotence, or it's not going to be powerful enough to kill anyone, that's the Otsutsuki, or how can an Otsutsuki resist this godlike omnipotent power? It is simply talking about the application of this mind manipulation. Now you may still have the question of who has this ability. Well, to start off, Ida has it. Like I explained earlier, she cannot control it, as Momo stated and was shown by Ida getting completely drained after just one usage of this. It's not some trivial ability that a lass who isn't even an Otsutsuki could control. Partnered with how it's basically stated a prerequisite to controlling this power is being able to make full use of it and being literally omnipotent or all-powerful and all-knowing, it's safe to say that this ability is reserved for the gods Naruto and Boruto. People like Shibai, who Ida obtains it from, just having a few genetic DNA or genetic material from his discarded physical body, whom is also someone who completely transcended the third dimension, becoming a minimum fourth dimensional being. You don't have to worry about everyone gaining this ability, or at the very least controlling it to the steps that Shibai or other Otsutsuki gods have. One more thing I would like to add is that this desire crafting ability would also kind of explain the strange jutsu that Otsutsuki clan have, such as the dimension creating that Momo and Kaguya share, and how Kaguya can basically warp reality with these dimensions and also fuse with nature as she sees fit. Now let's get into, does Ida need Kawaki or someone to use this ability? Now, in the instance of chapter 79, she did need Kawaki to do it, as it was something she had never thought about or even desired. This isn't always the case. Just how Amato mistakenly thought she had only the ability to enchant people, this was actually her using the ability on her own. Now, I have a theory as to why she was doing this subconsciously, which is she deeply desired love, that it manifested into making people fall in love with her. And even when she did not wish, or even when she did wish to have this normal love or normal relationships, her deep desires was still at its very core a want for love and relationships. This would also, if you think Damon has an application of omnipotence with reflection, his could be explained as wanting to be a shield for his sister and wanting no harm to come to them, thus granting him the divine technique of reflection. There are holes within the Damon side, one being that Amato knew Shibai had this reflection ability, him and Momoshiki, but questioned Ida's, showing that the reflection is a completely different ability. Now, will Boruto and Kawaki gain this omnipotence divine technique? I don't personally think that they would gain this ability, given how both the Otsutsuki's that they gain direct power from don't have these abilities. Ishiki, or where Kawaki gains all of his power from, while he can no longer take over Kawaki's body, Kawaki is now mostly or even 100% Otsutsuki now. We don't even know if he's still extracting with this karma that's completely a weapon. We know there are other means to become Otsutsuki because Code is seeking to become one to not get enchanted by Ida. But if Kawaki is 100% Otsutsuki, he now can manifest his own abilities aside from Ishiki's dojutsu abilities and inherent abilities gained from karma. I don't think he will get this ability, as Kawaki doesn't really have the same role as Ida or the other Otsutsuki's. He kind of wants to kill them all off. And when we get a flash forward to the future, him and Boruto's battle seems pretty grounded. Although everything around them is destroyed, if they do have applications of omnipotence, they'll be able to control it to the levels that Shibai has or even Ida has now. They most likely will stay with the Momoshiki and Ishiki abilities respectively, or if they do gain some crazy power up, it will not be omnipotence. Another thing I want to go over is, how can Sarada resist this? Now, there's a multitude of theories about how Sarada can resist this and why she resists this. Well, my theory, and what I think is the most plausible or probable theory, is that she resists this because she either shares a deep connection or bond with the Otsutsuki, or Ida, upon meeting her or when she found out about Sarada's existence, kind of desired to have her as just a normal friend or just have a normal relationship and don't affect her in any kind of way. Let's go over the first half of this theory, the deep connection with the Otsutsuki or Boruto. So we know from Momoshiki that Ida's ability specifically, or her application of omnipotence, does not affect those that are Otsutsuki-fied or a blood relative or the caster, right? So maybe because he is now 100% Otsutsuki and Otsutsuki-fied, that this bond with him, knowing how chakra is connected through all beings and memories and consciousness, doesn't affect her. There are a couple holes in this first theory because things like, oh, Boruto has a better bond with someone like Naruto or Sasuke, or Himawari and Hinata, all of which are stated or shown to be affected by Ida's ability to enchant, and also get affected by the memory swap or memory manipulation. Sasuke is a huge example, as Naruto's in another dimension. So that would be the holes within that theory. The second theory being that Ida desired her not to, like subconsciously or deep within her heart at its core. This I find a bit more probable, because even though she desired like every single other person to have this, maybe she saw that Sarada was a girl like her, much younger but kind of around the same age as her, so she wanted to build a genuine friendship and relationship with her and have someone to talk to. This one I don't think is that far-fetched, but there are still holes within it. These holes being, oh, why did Kawaki get enchanted? Because if she would seek this normal relationship with Sarada, why wouldn't she also do it for someone that she actually loves and wants to be able to love, that being Kawaki? Which I don't really have an answer for that. That is a big hole in it, and that's what kind of leads me away from this theory. Another theory I see that I don't totally agree with is that Sarada isn't affected because she has a bunch of Otsutsuki DNA from being part of the Uchiha clan. This one I find highly unlikely, as Sasuke, someone who should have more Uchiha DNA with her, or more Uchiha DNA than her, and has direct gifts from Hagoromo himself, someone who has even more Otsutsuki DNA than Sasuke, and Naruto, someone who is just like Sasuke, has more DNA than Sarada and received gifts directly from Hagoromo, also has more Otsutsuki DNA from her. They are more Uchiha and more related to Hagoromo, and thus Kaguya, a true full 100% bred Otsutsuki, than Sarada could ever be. So her having resistance because of that kinda just turns me off, and it's like, well, if she does, why doesn't Sasuke and Naruto? Granted, there are some implications that Sasuke isn't affected by this mind manipulation, but he has also stated, him and Naruto respectively, that they cannot come close to Ida as it will instantly enchant them. Now, I'd like to go over how people will resist it in the future, or the implications of who already has the potential to resist these abilities. First is Sasuke. Like I mentioned, there are minor implications in chapter 79 that Sasuke is going to resist this. That also being partnered with how Boruto has his cloak and sword within the future, the miniature flash forward that we see in chapter 1. People are asking, well, how does he get his sword? Does Boruto just kill and take it? Which I find unlikely. But I would say that him seeing the headband with the slash in between it, and we know a big theme with Naruto and chakra itself is bonds and relationships. It being kind of emphasized in this chapter that all memories and relationships are stored within chakra that connects everyone. Him sharing a lot of memories, bonds, and relationships with his headband, it being given back by his best friend that spent 700 chapters trying to track him down and turn him into a good guy. Him seeing this, it definitely would flood into his mind that Boruto is the son of Naruto and is being framed. As for Naruto, well, he's in a dimension where time doesn't flow. I don't know if we can necessarily say these abilities affect all dimensions. I don't know if we've seen that, but I would say if Naruto does resist it, that's probably the only way he will. Or he will go the same route as Sasuke, and his bonds and relationships will just supersede Ida's miniature control over this ability, as she is not an omnipotent, all-knowing, and all-powerful god. So she can't use this ability to its fullest extent. Now, the caster of this omnipotence jutsu, or shinjutsu I should say, shinjutsu within a shinjutsu as they say, is Ida, and it's basically who I've been talking about the entire video. So another question posed will be, how can they kill Ida with such a broken, haxed, unbeatable jutsu? Well, we see that she can't control this jutsu and it completely drains her, like I've been basically saying throughout this entire video. So with that being said, one application of this jutsu, no matter what she would do in the future to help out Kawaki, if they were to wait till she was drained, or kind of just survive the thing that she does since Boruto is Otsutsuki-fied and her mind manipulation doesn't work on him, then I would see that as a perfect opportunity to just kill her then. She is drained of power, she is shown to be like pseudo knocked out, can't even stand. So Boruto killing her at this time, or Momoshiki taking over Boruto, killing her while she's drained of chakra and drained of all of her stamina, would just be an easy way to get rid of this broken ability and broken person. Or if they don't go the route of killing her, I would see somehow she is changed by Sarada if they build like a real relationship, or Sumire, or Kawaki turning on her and killing her, or Kawaki just talking about how he doesn't like her, he doesn't believe in that love stuff, and he just wants to free the Hokage from harm's way by killing Momoshiki or Boruto. If they would have presumed Boruto's dead or Momoshiki's not within Boruto anymore, then he would have no reason to be with Ida anymore. And I kind of touched on this in the beginning of the video, but I touched on the potential of Omnipotence being not at full power while in Ida's command. Well, although I think the statements and implications are enough, I'll give you even more evidence. With small amounts of Shibai's DNA split between her and Damon, even if we were to assume that like she got 50% of the body and he got 50% of the body, which is not implied at all, it's actually implied that it's small pieces and not that much DNA from like a discarded body, not even his soul or essence of his being, right? That's even enough to cast this omnipotence. So imagine what someone who has the full essence of the soul plus this body and 100% of the DNA can do. This just further supports that you have to be an all-knowing and all-powerful deity to even hold this jutsu at all. And no, before the people say Hagoromo has this ability and it's creation of all things is not on this level at all. All the applications and what Hagoromo has done, all of his feats and maximum feat, his maximum feat being sealing Kaguya, which required the help of Hamura, so he couldn't even do it on his own, and him teleporting everyone back from Kaguya's dimension required chakra that passed his ghost chakra. So creation of all things does not make you nigh omnipotent or omnipotent like Shibai, and it can only do things on a scale less than what Kaguya can do. Kaguya being someone who can't even use omnipotence herself and being a full-bred 100% Otsutsuki. So Hagoromo, someone with, again, loads more Otsutsuki DNA than Ida and Sarada and Boruto, can't even hold a candle to Shibai or let alone Kaguya. With that being said, that's just been a little breakdown of the ability, this new ability that we received. This is one of the most hyped chapters. This has brought on a lot of fans, a lot of people who are starting to give Boruto a chance again and realize that it was never bad and they were just kind of going with the flow and going with the meta or going with the wave that it was bad just to receive like views, clicks, and attention. They're now starting to actually watch and read the series. Boruto is my favorite new gen, and I am so happy that this is happening. If you wish to see more jutsu explained, or if you think an ability should be explained that isn't really explained or delved into that deep within the series, I'll be happy to, as long as you comment it. That's the only way I can know. I'll respond to the comment or like it or pin it if I do plan on doing this video idea. But with all that being said, this is all for the ability breakdown. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share, and goodbye.